Hello, Karen. It's so
Hi.
nice to see you. So nice to see you. Okay, in the spotlight session, Karen, we are going to be highlighting for the viewers about your incredibly inspirational story. You are a lady that gives me goosebumps when I talk about you. Makes me feel emotional when I think about the time we spent together, helping you build your business. But also just your story, what you do is so unique and different, and I can't wait for you to share that with the listeners and talk about how you chose to back yourself last year and build a business that worked for you. So let's start by hearing a little bit about what it is that you do and how you work with your clients, because it comes very close to my heart with the farming link here. So over to you.
I am an agricultural consultant, an independent agricultural consultant that is based in primarily the north and islands of Scotland. So that's grown in the time that we've been working through things. I generally deal with small to medium-sized farms. There seems to be more of a market there for what I do and the way that I work, and we can be more involved with a business. I have a degree in animal science from Aberdeen University, which I got way too long ago to even think that that's a recent thing. I have over, I think it would last count, we've got over 150 clients on board now, which is amazing. Some of them are just annually, some of them are quarterly, some are monthly. So we've got quite a range of scope there. We've got a part-time administration assistant as well, who's now doing 12 hours a week, which is up from our 4 hours a week that she was doing, which is great. She works from home as well, so it's quite good. We've got systems in place that allow us to work absolutely anywhere as long as we've got a signal, which can be a bit challenging at times in the north and in the island.
In the Shetland Islands, do you get cut off?
It does happen sometimes, but we tend to work away with that, so that's fine. I've actually been in business for, this will be year 16 in September, and it's taken me this long to. I've got a big birthday this weekend, and that was very much a catalyst for me taking a step and saying that I'm either going to grow my business or I'm going to sit still, and I've never sat still in my life. I'm not going to start now, so. That was the reason that I decided to do something about it. It took me a while to realise where the support for that would come from and how that support would manifest. But having bought one of your lower end products, which is absolutely fantastic, quality and value for money, I then went on to have a chat with yourself, as you know, and came on board to your Time to Lead programme, which has been revolutionary for my business and my life as well.
So that's really kind of you to say. Thank you, Karen. And it goes without saying that you have been the biggest catalyst for this change, because you listen, you take things on board, and you've taken action. And that's been an absolute pleasure to work with you because of those principles and because of the way you are. But I would love to go back in time a little bit, if that's all right. What was the motivation for you to start your business? So anyone who's out there who's kind of maybe on that fence or like bridging the gap between having your own business and a job at the moment, like, why did you go into business in the first place? What inspired you?
I couldn't work for a local authority anymore. It was one of those, I'm very much a survivor of local authority employment, and there'll be a lot of people out there that understand what that means. Because if you're quite happy to sit and just do the bare minimum and sit under the radar, then the local authority is perfect, which is great. There's people out there that want to do that. But those of us that have an opinion or a little bit more drive or start asking questions tend to get shot in the forehead for sticking our head above the pulpit. And I just didn't like the way it was going. I couldn't see me working in any other industry because I was an animal health inspector, which was agricultural based. I couldn't see me actually working on a farm. So I thought, I had a chat with a few of the guys that I'd been working with in my role with the council. And they're like, well, why don't you just start your own business? And I'm like, I can't do that. I mean, that's something that grown-ups do. I mean, I was 24. I'm not proper grown up at that point, and still don't feel like I'm a proper grown up if I'm being honest. But it was just, that was what happened. It was like, right, okay, if I can't work with these guys anymore, I'm going to have to do something. And I actually got the push from one of my clients because he put an advert in the paper, and the first couple of clients came forward, and it was, the rest is history. It's been through various phases, but that's how it started.
So let's talk about this most recent phase then, Karin. So you said you've been in business 16 years. You kind of knew, you'd always had this drive and this desire. And I know you're a person who wants to continually improve and learn, and very much a growth mindset. What happened then a year ago, or you said last year, because you said the last year has kind of been quite pivotal in terms of business growth. You've seen business growth that you haven't before, and it's been like a real change. Okay, you had a big birthday coming up, but what do you think was the key for you to realize last year, right, something's got to change. I can't just keep doing what I'm doing or the way I'm doing it. Can you describe that moment or that period in time? What was life like for you in business at that time?
Life was pretty mundane, to be honest with you. You were doing the same sort of stuff every week, which is fine. I still do that stuff, but I got to the point that it was a case of it wasn't enough, and I needed more. I'd done some goal planning. I'd always done my goal planning, but I'd done some goal planning at the turn of the year, and then it was rumbling with the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and we were all grounded. And I'm not used to being grounded. I am out and about. I am traveling 3/4 of the time, and I just felt like a caged animal. And I thought, I need to build a business that means I can be where I want to be, when I want to be, and not actually restricted should something like this happen. And the work that I was doing wasn't pivotal enough to be able to be out on farm, but the work that I'm doing now with people probably is more so. Yeah. So we're able to work away as essential workers and such like. But it was the pandemic hitting that was the pivotal point, and I feel bad saying that in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of people out there that have lost jobs, have lost their homes, their businesses have collapsed round about them, they've had no support. I took my self-employment money and invested it in myself and your program, and it really was a case of, right, we're either going to make or break this, because how long is this going to go on, and am I going to be stuck at home for the next year? And I can't do this. I need to build something, and that was the moment. And I suppose everybody had that choice. We all took the decision as to what we were going to do with our businesses. But I can't help but think that if people had maybe appreciated more the impact that this would have had, they could have prepared better for things coming for them.
And obviously hindsight is a great thing, isn't it? We can all look with hindsight and think, you and I had a conversation before this started, just, what would we tell our younger self? And in hindsight, why didn't I do this sooner, was your words to me. But we can only do our best in the scenario that we're in. And you very much found yourself with a client base who are very traditional, very face-to-face, needy, but not being able to have that face-to-face contact. And what I'm hearing you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember at that time, like you were in the monotony of like, this is the way it works, this is the way it's always been done, so we'll keep doing it the way it's always been done. But you have this ambition, this growth to grow, but it was like, how do I do that in a way that works for my clients? Because they're not going to be the type that go and just do an online program, for example. They need handholding. So how am I going to grow my service without just flogging myself more hours into it, and without necessarily being able to be there on hand in the same way that you were pre-pandemic? So that was, I remember. Is that fair? Is that fair?
Yeah, no, I would say that's right. And things that I'd been trying to implement for a number of years, we had no option but to implement. Things like digital calls like this. And it was amazing how well, especially the older generation, adapted to this, because they wanted that contact, and this was their only way of getting that contact. So they had to adapt to it. And maybe an hour's phone call or something would have taken a little bit longer by the time they'd gotten used to getting online and making sure they were all connected up and things like that. But you allowed for that. You had that freedom. Now you've got clients phoning you up and saying, right, I've booked a call with you on Thursday. And it's like, yeah, it's fine. I saw it coming in. You don't need to tell me it's coming in. Oh, I just want to make sure because it'll be really good to see you. And it's like, it's great that you don't have to come out and farm because somebody's shielding or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it works. But we've got a really nice mix now of being able to go on to farm and see certain clients and also being able to reach the ones that you can't go out to for various reasons.
Mm-hmm. And you know it. So you and I've worked together for what, 9 months, something like that. I think.
Must be that now, yeah.
And you know, I've seen a huge transformation, not only in your business growth, the number of clients you can take on board, your confidence, you're creating opportunities for your assistant and like taking on a freelance bookkeeper for your clients, you know, services too. Like all of a sudden, little Karin, who was offering, you know, a service that you personally didn't like doing the bookkeeping side of things, did you? If we're being completely frank, you were offering things you didn't necessarily want to do. Certain things weren't happening, like, oh, you know, you're putting to the bottom of the list, that you weren't being as structured and systemized as you'd like. And now I see someone in you who's just trailblazing support in Scotland for like farmers. And again, I feel super passionate about it coming from a farming background, and I know how much help and what a lifeline you can be to farmers up there. So that's why I'm so extra passionate about what it is you do. But tell us a little bit about how life's different for you now, 9 months on. What's it like being in Karen's world now?
I actually feel like I'm in control of my life. Rather than the business driving me, I'm driving my business. I mean, Monday is my admin day. Tuesday is a client focus day. Wednesday is a client focus day. Thursday is admin, things like this that maybe aren't strictly business, but are personal development rather than strictly business. Yep. And every Friday in 2021, I have had off.
Yeah, I know that was a big goal for you. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, every Friday, even when I was away, it was like, no, Friday's my day off. I'm not doing that. I'll come and meet you for a coffee and have a chat and go for lunch and as much as you were able to. But I'm not coming to see you. And it's like, I'm not taking phone calls. I'm not doing your emails. And they're learning very quickly that Friday is my day off and not to bother me. So,
and how then has that affected your income? Because it sounds like you're being much more, well, I know you're being much more structured, much more about routine, boundary setting. How has that affected your business growth?
It hasn't. It's probably been more positive than negative because my clients now need to know that they have to be more organised and they can't just be last minute with things. And I've said no to work, which really sort of stuck in my throat for a while. But I'm not going to be, if they can't be organised with things, there's nothing that happens short of death that can't be preempted on a farm. Yeah, okay, you might get the farmer students coming for a visit or whatever, but they generally give you notice. Don't tell me 12 hours before that they're coming because there's no way they've given you that little notice. So really, it's become more quality over quantity. And even though the quantity has gone up, the clients that I've got are better quality clients as well. They appreciate what I do. They're willing to pay the rates that I am charging. I mean, my rates have gone up 25% since I first started with you, and nobody's batted an eyelid because at the end of the day.
And I remember saying, I think we need to put the rates up that first time. You're like, I can't,
yeah,
because
we've got up twice.
You were so nervous about it, and look at you saying it was confidence. Yeah, 25%. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
And you were explaining to me that February is going to be your biggest turnover month.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be
ever.
I'll need to look at it properly, but we could be a kick in the backside off of a 5-figure month.
Amazing.
Which has never ever happened before. It's just like,
wow. And you're here smiling to tell the tale and not having taken Fridays off in February.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so good, so good. I'm so thrilled for you. So one of the things, again, we were just talking about before we came on, and I'd love for us to just continue that conversation, was you said to me, oh, but Skye, if only I could have done this sooner. Like, what do you think was stopping you? Because there are so many people so many conversations I have with people who aren't quite ready to back themselves to do something like Time to Lead, because they recognize they need more structure. They recognize they do probably need some support, but they're still so busy struggling in the doing. When you think about that time when you were not feeling quite ready, what advice would you tell the younger you now, knowing what you know?
Not listen to the societal values of life, because societal values tell us as women that we should be homemakers, wives, mothers, work, run a household, blah, 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 blah. I mean, a million and one things that we are supposed to do, and that you're supposed to do them yourself. And imagine having a cleaner when you should be at home doing that, or having somebody that's a housekeeper that maybe cooks dinner ready for you coming home, or whatever it is. Why can't I run a successful business? Why can't I be as big as any corporate business? Because that self-doubt and belief is put into you from a young age that you should do this and you should do that. And I mean, I'm like, I'm going to be 40 on Sunday. I'm not married. I don't have children. Oh my God, imagine that a 40-year-old woman isn't married and doesn't have children. It's just shocking, the societal beliefs that are put onto women, especially. Men too.
Are you happy?
Delighted. Absolutely delighted. Life is bloody amazing. I have a successful business. I've got a fantastic group of friends and family. I've got a man that supports me. I don't need to be married to him to have him support me. Life is what you make of it. And self-limiting beliefs are really, they come from a very, very young age. It's quite scary how young those self-limiting beliefs are put into people.
So if there was someone watching this going, yeah, but I'm not, it's great for Karen, but I'm not quite at that stage yet. I don't think I could, I still need to control everything. Like, I still need to do all the work. Like, I've still got too much on. I'm too busy to like actually think about foundations of my business. Like, I don't need systems. I don't understand tech. Like, all these limiting beliefs. I'm not confident enough. I'm not good enough yet. I need to refine what it is. I'm still not quite sure on my messaging or clarity on this. What would you say to someone who is sat there having those conversations that I know are things you can resonate with too?
Definitely. I mean, even up until just before Christmas time, I still did not feel like a proper business owner. I was a woman that ran a business. I was not a business owner. And one day the light bulb went dink, and it's like, hold on a minute, I actually own a business. I run a business. I am a business owner. And that I don't know what changed, but you're never ever going to be ready. You're never ever going to be 100% right. If all the boxes are ticked, all the ducks are lined up, it's never ever going to happen. But if you want to make more of what you have, and that is your long-term goal, jump in. Don't wait. As business owners, we wait and we go, oh, I'm not sure, and get on that bloody high diving board and get in there. What's the worst that can happen? You're never going to sink, because there's always somebody there to save you.
You're so right. You're so right when you say about like, you're never going to be ready. You never are. It doesn't matter what level. And I say this to people in Time to Lead. I work with business owners that are just starting out, getting their first few clients, first few £1,000s in their business, up to people who are turning over millions of pounds. And some of the same challenges come up. It doesn't matter where you are. It's just new level, new devil, isn't it? I'm starting something brand new, and I did a little Insta story this morning in my pajamas being like, I'm just a farmer's wife. I'm just feeding my child on the table in my pajamas, doing an Instagram story being like, I'm a bit scared of this next phase, this next thing I got to do. I'm not sure I'm ready, but I'm going to do it anyway. At any point we feel like that. And we just have to know that in our comfort zone, nothing grows, and we have to get a little bit just out of our comfort zone, like you did. But what amazes me about your story, Karin, is you're an all-in person. So you fully committed, and by that I mean, you showed up. You and I had some great conversations. You massively inspired me. But you were also working on your personal life. You were working on you were getting fitter. You were like, it was like you were just you're not just doing one thing. It wasn't just business. You're like, I'm bashing, I'm just realigning what will make me happy. But and it was just incredible to see things like come into place. And it kind of talks about, I don't know whether you resonate with this, but that work and home, to me, I always talk about a blend, because it's not, they all have, they impact each
Individual
other.
entities. No, they're not individual entities. You are a one being. You have different facets, and if you're going to change one part of that being, you've got to sort of look at them all and apply the principles across the board. And that's a good thing, is that the principles that you teach can be applied across the board. They can be applied to your home life. They can be applied to your relationships. I mean, the communication that Ali and I have, I mean, as you know, we got together during my period of time with you, but I've applied the principles of communication that I learned from you to deal with my staff and contractors to that relationship. And it's made for a much smoother run as far as the relationship's concerned, because I can then go, rather than sitting there and going, that's really annoying me, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm going, right, okay, we need to address this, because if I don't address it now, it's going to become an issue. And
the 5% rule, she brings it out. But you're so right. I was having a conversation with a client before this, and we were talking about marriage conversation, and I was like, look, you're going to think I'm crazy, but the principles we talk about with managing a contractor or an employee is the same thing. My poor husband gets it all the time.
It makes no difference what the service they provide is. They're all service providers.
Oh, well, I think we should park that side of the conversation, or we could go completely down a different track. And I know you and we could get rather mischievous. Okay, that's amazing. So tell me about where you're going. Like, what big birthday this weekend? What, I know you had a whole list of stuff that, COVID willing, you've got planned, and adventures you've got planned. Like, tell me what this means for the business and for you, and your future coming up.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of adventures on the horizon on a personal level, but I mean, the business is going to allow me to be able to do these things and realise a lot of my dreams, because I've grown my income and I've built structure and scalability. And yes, scalability is a bit of a jargon word as far as business is concerned. There's a lot of them kick about, but it's true. You need to put the foundation in place, and then it's the whole rinse and repeat. I mean, we all know how to cook potatoes. So you peel the potatoes, you put them in the water, you bring water up to the boil, blah, 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 blah. It's the same principle. You're doing SOPs, you're doing whatever it is, bringing on contractors, new clients, whatever the task is in your business. If you learn how to do it and document it, I never ever thought that operating procedures would be something that I would ever need or use, or that's big business stuff, that's not something. But just start with one. It's like Gail's done a lot of my SOPs because she's been doing the tasks. But for the new tasks that I'm handing over to her, I'm actually doing the SOP first. And then I'm handing her the SOP and I'm saying to her, right, this is how I do it. What a difference. And for those of you that maybe are a bit wary about handing things over, because control freak number one is sitting right here. I mean, I had Gail for 9 months before I actually gave her anything on a regular basis to do. She was doing work for me, but I was paying her for 9 months without actually giving her a proper work schedule. And the fact I have done that.
The thing is, people do that and then they get rid of them because they're like, well, they weren't doing anything. Well, you may have handed them over something, but you probably not told them what it is you want them to do, and they haven't got a clue. But I guarantee they want to do a good job. Yeah. We get in our own way, don't we?
Oh, totally, absolutely. But actually showing up and doing the work and setting time aside every week to do business building tasks has allowed me to take Fridays off. It's allowed me to plan COVID, hopefully, to go and do things that I want to go and do that are on my 40 before 40, which is going to be 40 before 41 list.
Maybe it should be 40 at 40.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully. And it's just, I can't help but I want to come back to the word I used before, and it has been revolutionary, because pardon my language, it's shit we all know. We all know these things. We all are aware of these practices. We're all aware that we should be doing it, but we go, yeah, okay, we'll maybe get down to that one day. But then the way you break things down, the tools that you give to assist with these things, and I mean, that's just the way with any successful program, it's how it's delivered and how it's implemented. If anybody that's wanting to grow their business, they've got to show up and do the work. And if they don't do it, but I mean, I'm going to embrace 2021 as much as I can. I'm going way back to Shetland again at the end of the month, and we've already exceeded our targets for the year for customers. I put targets in place in December for customer growth, and we've already exceeded them, and we're not even a sixth of the way
Not
through
even
the
2
year.
months in.
No.
Not even 2 months in.
No. So I maybe need to aim higher with my goal. But that's just the way it's going, and I'm delighted, absolutely delighted. We've conquered a new area. I was sort of toying with maybe I should look at more areas, but I thought, no, we're going to focus on having more quality and quantity in the areas that we've got rather than spreading ourselves too thin. We'll focus on.
Yep.
So we've got some PR coming off in the next month or so as well. So it's still falling into place. It just takes time.
It is falling into place, isn't it? It is falling into place. And are there just on I mean, Karin is such an inspirational story. You know, it's been in business for 16 years. You're really good at what you did. And I just remember talking to a woman who just didn't see the gold she had beneath the surface. You knew you were good, but you didn't see the magic behind like you and your personality and what you provide your clients. And that's what I could see. And from our time together, I'm so passionate about bringing that out of people and allowing you to do more of what you're good at, more of the connection, more of the like building the client list, which is exactly what you've done, being able to help more people, because that feels good to you, forgetting the business income growth, forgetting the targets that you're meeting and beating, but it's also the people on the ground that you are helping, the impact you're having to other people's businesses as well. The positive ripple effect of that is just incredible. And you know, you were always feisty and you were always determined, but I just see it with this new lease of life. I don't know, there's a real lightness, a real energy, positive energy, and I suppose confidence, belief is the things that really shine out for me with you, and being able to see that grow and you do more of your magic has been really inspiring, really inspiring. So thank you so much for trusting me, and thank you so much for coming along on this journey. And I am your biggest cheerleader and will be watching the next phase of your growth, because I truly believe that there's so much more opportunity for you. There's so much more opportunity, and it's whatever you choose. That's the point, isn't it?
That is the thing, and that's the bottom line. If you make that decision and choose to do something, show up and do it, because nobody else is going to do it. And you don't want to be sitting there in a year's time seeing somebody else doing what you wanted to do and going, oh shit, I should have done that. Much rather oh well, it didn't work, than oh, I wish I'd actually done it.
Yeah. And it just shows when you turn up and you back yourself, it will work. And you're one of many examples of success stories of women who, or not just women, men and women who recognize their strengths, make sure that they've got the systems and support and business structure that's going to allow you to do more of what you're great at and remove the other bits from your list. That's essentially it. And it sounds so simple when you say it like that.
It does sound so simple, and it really is simple. It's just a case of not getting in your way, and that is the key. It's getting out your own road, because we do stand in our own ways through various beliefs and understandings.
And just as we draw to a close, are there any kind of final remarks or anything you want to, like, any summary you want to draw to this interview or this discussion?
Well,
any last bit of advice you want to give anyone?
I would say anybody that's actually sitting there thinking that they can't do this or they're not ready to do it, what's the worst that could happen if you actually took that step? I mean, worst case scenario, you're going to be exactly where you're at right now. Best case scenario, well, the world's your oyster. And I'm really glad that I made that decision to take that step and to subscribe to your program, but to also believe in myself and show up and actually invest in me and my business. And I'm really very excited about where this is going now. I mean, I was getting to the point that I was thinking I might have to go back and be an employee for someone, and that was just depressing me. But it's like, no, I'm going to actually be a proper employer and have people working for me.
We're all about small business creating opportunities for others, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Karin, that's been amazing. Thank you. And if you're watching this and thinking Karin's story is really inspiring, but how on earth do I double my business as well without having to just sacrifice all my time? I do have a free masterclass, which I'd love to share with you. The link is, if you're watching this on Instagram or anywhere, will be in my bio. Or you can email me at skye@skyebarber.com and I will send you a free masterclass of how to double your business without sacrificing family time, because it shares all the principles and some really great meaty stuff about how you can put this in place in your business too. Karin, thank you. You are a dream client for many reasons, but I genuinely feel overwhelmed with emotion when I talk to you, just because I'm just so proud, genuinely so proud of you. And I'm honoured to be part of your journey. But before I do tear up on that genuine note, I'm going to say goodbye to anyone who's watched us on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, I look forward to reading your comments. Let me know if you watch this on replay. Thank you.